Hey there, drone fans. Rick here again from Drone Valley. In today's clip, I'd like to show you two new options for fast charging the batteries for your Mavic Mini Quad. Now, if you love this quad as much as I do, you're out every sunny day there is, and you're putting the quad up in the air, and you want to keep it up there as long as possible. And the one problem we all wrestle with is the fact that it's hard to keep those batteries charged when you're out in the field, and it takes a long time to charge them when you're home getting ready to head out for an afternoon of flying. So over the last couple of weeks, we've been researching a lot of different options to quickly and safely charge your batteries both at home before you leave and out in the field between locations, and we've settled on two chargers over here. And it's not an easy thing because these batteries are based on lithium-ion technology, which is a bit of a ticklish chemistry that requires very careful charging and discharging of the batteries to get the longest life out of them. And these are probably the most expensive accessory you're going to buy for the quad, so you definitely want to take care of these guys and treat them with kid gloves so that they last as long as possible. Now, there are other options out there. For example, if you bought the Mavic Mini as a standard package, you got the quad, a battery, and you would charge that battery inside the quad. You'd basically slide the battery in the quad, connect up a micro USB cable here to a wall charger, and you charge that one battery. If you bought extra batteries, you'd have to wait for that battery to finish. When it was fully charged, pull it out, put another battery in, charge that battery, and then go on to your third battery. And even though that worked, it always worried me that I'm charging a battery inside the quad, which is going to generate heat. I'm using circuitry, not to mention the fact that it takes a long time because you're charging one battery at a time, and you have to remember to keep checking on it, sort of like watching toast before it pops out of the toaster, to pull that battery out and slide another battery in there. So that's probably the worst way to charge the batteries. Even though it works, it's not very efficient. I didn't like that. So if you bought the Flymore combination, you actually got this beautiful hub which held 3 batteries. And they did a wonderful job in the design of this because the batteries pop in the front. And also, you'll notice there are LEDs on the front. Now, if you own the quad, you've seen this already, but I love the fact that I can push one button and I can tell exactly what the charge level is of the batteries. I also have a really nice carrying case to protect these batteries when I'm traveling. So if you connect this up to a wall charger, let me do that real quick. There's a micro USB on the side, and I can connect this up to a wall charger. The minute I do, there's intelligence built into this that's looking at all those batteries, and it's finding the battery that needs the least amount of charge. Now, it doesn't charge all 3 of these batteries in parallel. It charges them in series based on the amount of charge in each battery. So the one that needs the least amount of charge is the one that it'll charge first. And in this case, it looks like that's the one. When that's finished, it'll move on to the next one. Then it'll move on to the last one. And if you connect up the controller to the outside of this, right here through the USB-A connection, it'll actually move on to the controller. So it'll, sort of in a serial fashion, charge all your batteries and whatever external device you have connected up, whether it's your controller, your phone, your tablet, whatever's hanging off that USB-A cable. And that's a big step up from individually charging those batteries on the quad because you don't have to keep track of them. They'll charge on their own. It's still not the best way to go because each of these batteries are 8.4 volts. That's a 5-volt charger. So that 5 volts coming in here has to be regulated and controlled by the brains inside this charging hub. And it does a wonderful job of testing the batteries to see which ones needs the charge first, and it makes that determination. It's controlling the current going into the lithium-ion batteries. But in general, it's a slow way to go. It'll get it done if you don't mind letting it sit there. But I was looking for a way to actually charge all the batteries at the same time. And even better yet, if I could charge 4 batteries at the same time. And that's actually where these two chargers came from. So the difference between what you get here and what you get with either one of these chargers is that this can only charge one battery at a time because of the 2.5 amps that are hitting it at 5 volts. That's not enough current to actually charge a bunch of batteries simultaneously. You need more current than that. So both of these are designed to deliver at least 2 amps or 2.5 amps of current to each of the ports at the same time, while they're keeping track of how those batteries are absorbing that charge. Because remember, these are ticklish chemistries inside there with the lithium ion. So that charger has to take responsibility of looking at 2 or 3 different batteries and saying, you all need different charging currents and you have different charge levels presently. I've got to keep track of you, and understand that I'm treating you differently when I'm dispersing that current. So these chargers are smart enough to do that. So let me talk about these really quick. There's 2 places you're going to want to charge your quad batteries, either on the go or at home. And I'll start with the car charger first because that's probably the easiest one to explain. So if you're out in your car, this car charger is a great option because it allows you to charge 2 batteries simultaneously. It's got 2 separate battery connections on the end of it. The other cool thing is each of these have little dust covers on them. So if you're only charging 1 battery, you can close it up. Or if you're not using it, close them up, because if you throw it in the back of your car and this thing hits the carpet, you're going to pick up bits of fuzz and you don't want that getting into the batteries. But in addition to these 2 custom battery charging cables, it also has a USB-A connection on it. This USB-A connection on the car charger is a 2 amp connection, so you can use this to charge your controller, you can charge your phone, your tablet, whatever plugs into a USB-A connection. Both of these will deliver that 8.4 volts, and it delivers it at 3.5 amps. So it's a little bit higher current than you can charge from a standard USB charger, and it'll charge your battery safely because the electronics built in there is checking each battery level to make sure that it's not pushing too much current at it, it's charging it safely, and as it starts to get more charged, it'll actually reduce that current and shut off completely. So let me show you how that works. So when I plug it in over here, I've got a little battery bank here that I'll use to pretend it's my car. So I'll plug it into the car, and immediately you'll see an LED come on. Let me turn on that portion of it. So it's green right now. Now green is good. Green means that you've got a fully charged battery, but there's no load on it yet. So let me take these two batteries out, and I'll show you how it works. You essentially just slide the plug on it like this, just like you're going to charge it at home. And the minute I put that battery on there, you see it turn red. The reason it turned red is because it knows it's charging a battery. So both batteries are charged right now, they're plugged in, and it's charging. So these guys are getting current, again, 3.5 amps maximum to each of the batteries. It's gonna charge them pretty quickly, and it's also gonna charge them really safely because of that balancing that goes on. Once these are fully charged, that light will turn green and you know they're fully charged. Also, you can use this external connection here. If you've got a USB cable, here's a micro USB, I'll plug that in here, and I can charge my controller at the same time. So what's nice about this is that you can use it in your car when you're between locations to actually charge, yeah, there you go, to actually charge your batteries and your controller. Now, one thing I will caution you, again, lithium ion, lithium polymer technology, the battery chemistry is really sensitive to heat. So you never ever want to put this in your car when you're out flying and leave it in your car to charge because you'll damage these batteries really quickly, or worse, they could spontaneously combust. There's been a lot of videos out there on YouTube about lipo fires and lithium ion fires. So never leave the charger in your car when you're off in the summer flying, but use it between locations. Now, where this becomes handy for me is I fly in a lot of different locations on a given Saturday. I'll get up really early in the morning, go to my first location, I'll fly a little bit, and then I might drive an hour to my second location. I've got my batteries plugged in on the seat with this in the car, charging them. And in a lot of cases, when I get to that second location, they're fully charged because I never run them down to zero. I always keep them about 25 or 30%. So I can throw a lot of current at them when I'm driving to that second location. It also gives me the option to charge my controller or my phone or my tablet through that same unit. So with one plug, I can charge everything, which is pretty cool. All right, let me show you the home charger next. So that's the car charger. And again, we've tested these against a bunch of others in the market. There are a bunch of them out there that are less expensive, but I really wasn't comfortable with the regulation circuits that are built into them. I need to know that if I'm charging those batteries, that I'm charging them safely and I'm not going to cause issues with damage to the battery, because if you force too much current at them or you're not watching the voltage to keep that regulated, you can definitely damage those batteries. And it won't happen like a light bulb. It won't blink out and not work. It'll just get weaker and weaker over time, and you don't know it, but you're damaging it a little bit at a time. All right, so with the home charger, pretty straightforward. You basically plug it into the wall. So here's a cord. It comes with a cord, comes with everything you need. So you plug that in the back, you plug it into a wall outlet. And the minute you do, it goes through a power on self-test and all the LEDs light up green. Again, it means that there's no current being drawn from any of the outputs. Now, the other cool thing is it comes with 4 outputs, so it'll charge 4 batteries at the same time. But if you're only charging 3 batteries, you can disconnect these and put them aside. So in my case, I've got 3 batteries. I'll disconnect that for now. And the same applies here, where you've got the dust cover on the end of it. You slide it over the actual connector on the battery. And then once you do, immediately, the charger knows, uh-oh, I've got a battery that needs a charge, and it's not a full charge, so I'm going to turn red. And I connect up the second battery, the same thing will happen. So what you're getting is the charger sort of taking charge of, charging the batteries, but letting you know how it's doing. So again, as it does the assessment of how much current the battery needs, it turns red and says, I'm throwing current at that battery right now, Rick. So those 3 batteries are all red at this point. All 3 of these are charging. One of them is going to finish before the other 2, because as I showed you, one of them was pretty close to a full charge. When that battery finishes, that light's going to turn green, so you know it's fully charged. The other 2 will stay red. The other thing that's cool is that this is going to push 8.4 volts out at 8 amps total for the 4 of them, which is 2 amps per branch circuit. So it's a little less current than the car charger, but I like the fact that it can charge 4 of them at the same time, because I have a lot of batteries for the Mavic Mini, and I want to charge them all at the same time. In addition to that, there are 2 USB connections on here. So you could use a micro USB cable to extend this to, let's say, your controller while you're charging your batteries. There's the controller charging. And another one, I don't have anything else to charge that's micro USB, but another one you could plug in to maybe your phone or your tablet or something else that you want to charge, battery bank that you want to charge along with you. So this is a great option if you're home. And where I use this is, let's say I'm going to go to fly on a Saturday morning. Typically I'll get up really early and I'll charge my batteries that morning before I leave. I don't like to charge them the night before, but I'll get up and charge them that morning. I'll plug everything in. I'll go take my shower. I'll get the car ready. When I come downstairs, everything's charged and I'm good to go. And the best part is, in my car, I have an outlet like this. I have an inverter built into the car, so I can take this with me in the field, leave it in the back between locations, and actually charge my batteries when I'm traveling from one location to the next location. So it's a really, really wonderful solution. Again, these have been tested by us extensively. We've got a bunch of people that use them on a regular basis. I've been using the car charger and the home charger for at least the last 5 weeks. Rock solid technology. We stand behind it. There are actually links below where you can buy these off our website. If you want to support the channel, hit those links and pick them up. But again, I've tested a bunch. These are the ones that we picked. I like the cabinet because it's ABS plastic. It's not heavy. It's light. You can take it with you. I also like the plug design where I can pull everything off and just have a square to take with me. It's a lot less space to take up. So fits in my bag and it works really well. The last thing I'll tell you is we've also built, and I've talked about this before on the channel, in addition to having sort of a dedicated cable, because right now this is a micro USB, USB-A to micro USB, so you can only charge micro USB stuff with it. You might be out in the field and want to charge a bunch of different devices. So we make a Hydra cable, which I've talked about before on the channel, that has a USB-A in one end and 3 different flavors of connectors on the other end. So you can plug this in to either this USB here or the one on the car charger, and all 3 of these go live at the same time. So I could charge my controller with the micro USB, I can use the USB-C to charge a phone or a tablet, and I can use the Apple connector to charge anything that connects to a lightning connection on that end. So that's pretty cool. That's a really easy way to sort of take all that current and disperse it among 3 different units, or even just have this in your car, because if you've got an action camera, a drone, and maybe a phone, they all take different connections. This solves your problem for you. That's available on the website as well. Then the last thing I'll talk about is a cable we came out with called the Evolve Universal Charging Cable. And this is basically a USB-A cable in this end, so you plug it into any USB-A port, and you can plug this in here, the car charger, any wall charger you've got, your computer, any place that a USB-A connection is available, you can plug it in. The other end of it is a USB-C, which is the most common connection for modern electronics. So if you have newer stuff like action cameras or phones or tablets, USB-C is probably the one you've got. But if you've got an older device, you're thinking, gee, I can't really use that, so how's it a universal cable? Well, it also comes with these 2 adapters. And this adapter here is a micro USB adapter. I'm sorry, this one's a micro USB adapter. When I snap that on, boom, I've got a micro USB connection, and I can charge the controller with it. So I just plug that into the controller, and boom, the controller starts charging. If I've got an Apple phone, I can disconnect that, connect the other one up, and I've got an Apple connection. So it's the perfect cable to have that will adapt, almost like plumbing. You can plug in what you need to adapt it to the device you're trying to charge. And that way you carry 1 cable and a couple of end connectors and you're good to go. So either this or that Hydra cable will give you what we think are the ultimate flexible choices when you're plugging a cable in to sort of expand the use case for that USB-A port. So that's pretty much it for today. Again, I'm always looking for ways to make flying a little bit more fun, a little safer, to get you back up in the air as quickly as possible, because at the end of the day, the whole reason we bought the quad was to fly. So anytime I'm not flying, whether I'm charging batteries or wrestling with a cable connection, that's time away from flying. So whatever I can do to speed up that process safely to get you back up in the air and fly is something I'm really interested in. And I think these 2 solutions, both the car charger and the home charger, will do that for you really well. If you have any questions about anything I've covered today, please drop those in the comments below, and I promise to get back to you as quickly as I can. To be honest, I've been out flying an awful lot because we've had beautiful weather in New Jersey, and I'm taking full advantage of it. I hope you guys are as well, because summer's sort of coming towards the end. It's going to be winter before long here in the East Coast, and I want to get up as much as possible. But if you have questions, I promise to get back to you quickly. If you need any of this gear, there are links below to our website. You can go there. You can find both chargers, all the cables I've talked about, and a bunch of other cool stuff for your drones. So if you want to support us here at Drone Valley, go down there, hit the link, and buy a couple of products. We'll ship them out the same day, free shipping, and we'll probably get it to you faster than Amazon will anyway. And the last thing I'll say is, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button down there and join the Drone Valley family. We have so many clips coming over the next couple of weeks on drones and other high-tech gear that you're not going to want to miss. I've got a lot of cool stuff we're going to be reviewing. So hit the button, join the family, and that way you'll get a notification when we post something. And that's it for today. So thanks a lot for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this clip. And until next time, happy flying.